Hello, my friends. SAmaryllis here to play more of a normal Lost Phone. We got quite far. Last time we were here, we got into the BU forum. I was afraid I was going to have to go and click back to it. We went through most of introductions. We did get a hint at the very bottom that if you get your password wrong 3 times, you'll just get an automatically newly generated password that will be sent to the email, which we do have access to, hopefully, if it's the same email that's on the phone. So I might not need to get or to guess the new password. I've already guessed wrong once. But let's read the rest of the boards if we have the time. So here's one about general ranting, where you can talk about if someone misgendered you or if you don't like your family or someone on the street was mean. And then the only rule here, it says, is that you should have done or said blah, blah, blah. Okay, so Simba had something to say that they were wearing their hair differently. And then someone at the store called Simba Sir, and it made Simba really happy, even though their mom didn't like it. Burrito-kun said that it's very touching when his coworkers specifically use the pronoun he. H says so, says that they came out to a childhood friend a while ago, which she took it pretty well, and it didn't really change anything. And is starting to say that gender is just a construct, but for some reason, even 3 years later, they still misgender. H says so, and H says so has kind of given up. So that's, come on, childhood friend, do better here. Burrito-kun says that people who think they know everything are very annoying and not intelligent. And it really doesn't, their friend really doesn't get it right like that. Simba says that they were used as a token by their best friend. I have a trans friend, I'm so tolerant. Yeah, don't need to out someone else for that. Chloe says people nudge you all the time, saying it's easier to hit on people since you know both sides of the fence. Clearly all trans people are pickup masters. Hetty Boss say that they have friends who get weird about thinking that they're hitting on them just because they're trans, just because changing their gender doesn't mean changing their orientation. Melrin had a fire in the LGBT center. Someone set it on fire and nobody was hurt. And they didn't call it a hate crime on the media. And it was confirmed that it was arson. And there were threats in the mail for past 3 months saying that it would get set on fire. Melrin is not welcoming for the LGBT community, and H says so, volunteers a lot there. And then Tessie is saying like, oh, by the way, you're kind of not doing the VIP public rules. And H says so, says that everyone in Melrin knows who they are anyway, so they don't really care. Sam is not dealing well with their parents. It is the end of January for last year. Oh, long story. All right, let's settle in here. So they have an older cousin. Oh, it has to be Eric, who disappeared when they were little, and it's been over 10 years. Never really knew anything about it. Said that they were run out to a cult. And then, okay, this is about the wedding invitation from the cousin. So Eric is gay. Or at least bi, because the wedding is for another man. And wow, Sam's family even said it was good that LGBT center was burned down. And then it sounds like Teo was able to contact Eric, and the whole cult thing was just a lie. He was just kicked out the day he came out. Oh, Oh, okay. That's not a good precedent for Sam. Definitely kind of scary to see what would happen if you come out to your family that way. So Eric tried to reach out for the wedding and then it ended up useless, went in the garbage. So now Sam knows what's going to happen to them. Oh, and Sam actually talked to his parents too, or her parents, my bad, sorry. Brought up the wedding. Oof, parents came right out and said it was a disgrace and a cultist ceremony. Oh boy, it's runs pretty deep. Okay, Hetty is the one who's spamming. Okay, so we at least know for sure that Sam's parents are very against LGBTQIA rights. That's definitely stressing out Sam. Coming out. So this is if you need some encouragement or if you just want to talk about the experience. So Sunshine is saying, sorry if I don't really know what to do, but completely lost. Their boyfriend is trans. And apparently their boyfriend, or I guess it's a trans woman, seems very masculine. And Sunshine is getting pretty invasive about their partner's sex. They're scared, don't really understand, think that it's being gay. Okay, so Hetty Boss is going to try and Hetty Boss is going to try and answer that. So first of all, thanks Sunshine to come here and ask questions. Take a deep breath. It is complicated. It's something you have to learn. So remember that sex is between the legs and gender is between the ears. Yeah, I've seen that comparison before as well, and I do think that's quite helpful. So a lot of times you take on the gender that matches your sex, and sometimes it matches so you're cis, and sometimes it doesn't match so you're trans. Trans people usually take years to realize that something isn't right and then to identify the source of the problem. And there's discrimination, and then being trans isn't a choice. It's simply realizing who you are. Some people never come out. And then also being trans doesn't necessarily mean you're going to have an operation. Being trans is how you feel, and it doesn't always have to do with how your body looks and whether or not you change it. Someone could be a different gender than the one they were assigned at birth, but they can still be comfortable with their sex. And being trans just means that they want to be recognized with a different identity than the one they were given. And some trans women wear makeup and some don't, and some are very feminine and some don't really do anything about that. And again, gender is very different from orientation. So that's also very different. And it is normal for partners of trans people to go through some stages of grief as well, which is also normal. So communication. Okay, so Tessie is happy that Hetty is giving an in-depth answer, and that not all trans people feel that something isn't right. Sometimes they're happy with their lives, but just realize that can be even happier. And then Tessie says for Sunshine to look for groups who are kind of in a similar situation, go to an LGBT center. Things get better with time. And then Flip Flop Flap says that if you really love your partner, you're going to understand that she's going to need attention, and it's not always going to be easy because transitioning is not easy. And then to encourage them to use her pronouns. But again, H says, well, you should ask them regardless. Sunshine was really worried. Sunshine always liked men. And then Hetty says, no one besides you can answer that, Sunshine. And then this one says, like, maybe you need to decide what you want to do in the long haul. If you still love them as a partner, but if you can't, then it's not the end of the world. And yeah, something to keep in mind is that when someone's transitioning, it's to make themselves more happy, and it's not the intent to make someone else unhappy. And if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. But the right decision is what makes you happy. Okay, Sam jumps in saying it hopes it goes well for Sunshine. And yeah, Sam is scared to come out to Melissa. And then, wow, even saying that Sam was bi was completely rejected. So it's kind of not even worth. And Flip Flop Flap says that's ridiculous. And Sam says, well, Melissa has good qualities aside from being totally trans and biphobic. But yeah, how can you be with someone who can't accept you? And then Sam says, like, I kind of don't want to talk about it anymore. Strange Life comes in, doesn't know what the difference between being bi and trans is. And then Hetty says that gender is different from sexuality. Who doesn't like cupcakes? Okay, Nihi is a new person who's been lurking for a while. Nihi's 15, loves cupcakes, and doesn't like being a boy, or doesn't feel like one. So they're asking if they have to completely transition to being a girl. They're probably non-binary. Yeah, Cupton Capcake says that you're totally fine. Yeah, so Cupton Capcake is NB, non-binary. H says so is happy to see Cupton Capcake, so excited. And yeah, gender is a spectrum. Gender is not a binary. And H says so is a trans man, but doesn't feel like 100% a man. And there's no good or bad way to be trans. It's just how you feel comfortable. And it just says you don't have to do anything that you don't want to. Take your time, explore your identity. And if you're NB, then talk to Cupton Capcake. That's so difficult to say. I always want to say Captain Cupcake. Yeah, Nihi is very happy about that. Still feel lost, but it's, reassuring to know that I'm not alone. Want to start off exploring some feminine things. And then Tessie just says, as long as you have friends who are open to it, or mom or sister to borrow, then you could try some nail polish or makeup just to see how you feel over a couple of days or a weekend. Maybe try some clothes. Oh, Sam Thing jumps in and says you could try a push-up bra or a wig. So, okay, this is when Sam Thing is talking to Alice. Had some really bad news. It's probably Lola, kicking Sam out of the board game club. And then Alice was totally fine about Sam being trans. Oh, okay, so Sam says at the 18th birthday party, they might try to come out. Alice is going to be there. Is Alice going to be there? I thought she couldn't make it. Or maybe I couldn't tell. I don't remember from the email. And then H says, so I was like, maybe you should tell them one at a time unless except the birthday party. Strange wants to know some advice to come out. Chloe says you could always ask a professional. And then Yazik says that you can start by writing down the key things that sound good. And it might be easier to do a letter or an email. But yeah, you could do one by one or group by group, like parents together. Flip Flop Flap says good luck on the birthday coming out, and then Sam says maybe not. Sam says see what I posted in Rant. Okay, Hetty says they forgot their email, so I'm gonna check. I thought Alice couldn't make it. She says she can't come tonight. Yeah, because she's extremely sick. And then there's a flight as well. So I'm pretty sure that Sam isn't going to come out during the party. Okay, let's go back to the browser. So that's the coming out one. Hormones, operations, beauty, hobbies, and free time. Wait, so what was in ranting? I don't remember anything. Oh, okay. So this is when Eric happened. So that's probably why when they decided to stop. Okay. Hormones and operations. Questions about hormones and operations. Super Pocket has been wondering about how hormones work. So they've been dressing as a girl and then doesn't really know who to ask in real life for trans women. So wants to know about side effects, hormones, how they went for people if they chose not to make them, or take them rather. So Tessie says that they've been taking them for 3 years, and like taking hormones is like going through puberty again. So like growing boobs and then also getting very emotional. And then any side effects kind of depend. So like you might have lower sex drive, less energy, or being depressed. But it's kind of like what cis women have anyway, so it's not really too big a difference. So you can start with small doses to limit any risk. And then, oh, okay, so I actually didn't know this, but for this person's hormone treatment, they rub a gel on their stomach and thighs and then also take a small pill. I didn't know that. I didn't know that much about hormone treatments. Chloe says Tessie's reply is too optimistic. So there's consequences in the world when you start to transition where people give you weird looks because you're kind of in between. It can also be a negative impact on your studies, your work and social relationships, and can also be dangerous. So Chloe says they're not taking hormones because they're afraid of getting their mouth smashed in. So it's a little bit discouraging, but it is kind of good to know all aspects. So Tessie says that, yeah, my experience was really positive. It was really quick and it went well, and my friends and family were all fine, and the area they live in is not transphobic. And then, yeah, the side effects really do depend on where you live, what kind of meds you take, how you react. There's really no way to know. So they also say think carefully about what you can afford to transition, because it could also be expensive. And if you think you can kind of stand up to the side effects, kind of like what Chloe mentioned. Then Banzai has a question about operations. So Banzai has been on hormones for under a year and starting to think about operations. So like Adam's apple sounds like an easy one. Tessie also had that operation, was stressed out, but it was okay. Kind of didn't even feel anything, but had a sore throat for a few days. Sam is scared of operations, doesn't even want to get piercings. And then H says you don't have to do anything if you don't want to. Hormones can come in syringes, pills, and gels as well. You don't have to worry about being trans enough. So Miracle asks about for trans men, how that works. So Simba says testosterone does something completely different. So there's a whole lot of thing. Oh, I didn't. Okay, so voice getting deeper is permanent, apparently. And then if you're on testosterone, your periods reduce or disappear completely. For 2 years. Okay, Huddy posts that they can't get in. Okay, so we have beauty, hobbies, and free time. So let's talk about beauty. Morning rituals. Simba says, I don't have any beauty tips, but I need some help with like a haircut or something. They have a kind of a round face, so they want to try and look a little bit more masculine. So H says that cuts for guys are usually shorter at the sides and longer at the top, to look at some magazines or the internet, or if there's like someone from a TV show that you like, specifically if you have a face shape similar to them. Simba's not sure about the thing, about the photo, about the haircut, and then Tessie just says like, hey, I removed your photo because so you can be safe. Say go to VIP. Trans Pride was on December 19th. And I am looking at my notes, and that is exactly when the book festival was when Sam went. So that, I think that's what it is. It was a Trans Pride. And then Super Pocket says, like, don't use electric epilators. I don't know what those are. I'm a cis woman and I don't know what those are, but I'm assuming it has something to do with like pulling hairs out. But yeah, it's apparently very painful for Super Pocket. And then Hetty is locked out. Okay, so we have one more. We got hobbies and free time. Oh, bookworm. I got an achievement. So anything not about trans identity. Is there a world beyond trans identity? Music, films, video games, art, cooking, sports, clubbing, nature, computers, shopping, pets. Anything goes. Chloe likes table tennis. And then there are some LGBT plus inclusive sports clubs in different cities. Okay. Organize tournaments. Okay, Chloe already found table. They don't have table tennis, but maybe there's enough people. But Chloe will do badminton in the meantime. I don't know if Edward Frolov and Cedric Menendez are real or not. They are not familiar to me, but I don't know anything about music, so it's probably what it is. But Sam likes them too. Stugsnak? I don't know. I can't pronounce this. This is probably like Norwegian or Swedish or Danish. I think it has the right? The sound, right? That's the O with the two dots. Is that umlaut? Unless that's German. I don't know. I don't know my languages very well. And then Chloe says, remember, don't arrange in real life meetings unless you're VIP. Just for privacy and safety. So Sam likes jazz, indie rock, and classic music. Again, I don't know any of these people. Sam says they like to play the harp, but they like to compose. Hetty says, don't talk about work, talk about hobbies. Okay, so Hetty got locked out again. Okay, so I think the only thing I have left is... Oh, I still haven't read all the Lovebird stuff. So I was going to say the only thing I have left is to try and fail my password 2 more times so that my reset gets sent to my email. But I also have time to read the Lovebird posts. We read a lot about what Phil Free wrote, but not what anyone else said. So that's going to happen next time. Thank you for watching. This has been SAmaryllis playing a normal Lost Phone, but we'll get into that next time. And I hope you have a great day. Remember to be kind to yourself and to others. Bye-bye.